A thousand years of exile, a thousand years of pain so profound that even eternity itself couldn't numb it. This is the story of what happens when love becomes loss, when betrayal carves scars too deep to heal, and when two souls, who were meant to be eternal, learn what it truly means to be broken. Welcome back to the story of Aelia and Kaelen. Where we left them, one was shattered, and the other, he was about to discover that living can be a far worse punishment than death. Aelia sat motionless in her chamber, a room that had once glowed with her radiance but now lay dim and cold. The healers had done what they could, but some wounds exist beyond the reach of magic. Her body bore no physical scars, but her essence, the very core of what made her a guardian, was fractured into 1,000 pieces. Healer Mirael, voice gentle but concerned. Keeper Aelia, you must try to eat. Your physical form still requires... Aelia, voice flat, emotionless, eyes staring at nothing. Leave me. Healer Mirael. But the council has requested... Aelia, suddenly turning, her eyes now cold and hard. I said leave me. Or have my words lost all meaning in this place? Just as vows have. Just as promises have. Just as love has. Mirael retreated, fear evident in her eyes. Not fear of Aelia's power, but fear of the emptiness that now resided where warmth once lived. Aelia rose slowly, moving to the mirror that hung on her wall. The reflection that stared back was almost unrecognizable. Aelia, whispering to her reflection, "Who are you? You're not the Keeper of Dawn." She died 3 nights ago on that balcony. She died when she looked into the eyes of her soulmate and saw a stranger, a monster, a liar. Her luminescent patterns, those beautiful golden circuits that had once glowed with life, were now cracked like shattered porcelain. Dim, broken, some had gone completely dark. She raised her hand, trying to summon her signature light, a simple manifestation that once came as naturally as breathing. Nothing happened. She tried again, focusing harder. A single spark flickered into existence, then died. Aelia, voice breaking, he didn't just betray me. He destroyed me. While Aelia mourned in isolation, the Guardian Council convened for the first time in 3 centuries. Their purpose, to decide the fate of Kaelen, Sentinel of Twilight, who had committed the unthinkable. Scene: the Chamber of Eternal Law, Council meeting. Elder Varos, voice booming with authority. The evidence is irrefutable. Kaelen used the Essence Siphon, a forbidden artifact, to drain the power of his bonded mate during the sacred convergence. The penalty for such betrayal is clear: complete essence dissolution. His existence will be erased from reality itself. Murmurs of agreement rippled through the assembled guardians. Execution was rare in their society, but this crime demanded the ultimate punishment. But then a weak voice interrupted. Aelia, standing in the doorway, wrapped in grey robes, barely standing. No. Every head turned. Aelia had not been expected to attend. By all rights, she should still be in healing stasis. Elder Varos, Keeper Aelia, you should not be... Aelia, voice stronger now, cold. I said no. Death is too merciful for what he's done. Dissolution would end his suffering in an instant. That's not justice, that's kindness. She walked forward, each step requiring visible effort, but her eyes, though dim, burned with a fury that made even the elders step back. Aelia, I want him to live. I want him to live every single day knowing what he destroyed. I want him to feel the weight of his betrayal every moment of his immortal existence. I want him hunted, exiled, alone. I want him to suffer. Elder Varos, after a long pause, then it shall be as the wronged party requests. Kaelen of Twilight is hereby sentenced to eternal exile. He is stripped of his title, his position, and his place among the Guardians. Should he ever return to the Sanctum or approach any Guardian sanctuary, he will be destroyed on sight. Furthermore, a mark of betrayal shall be placed upon him. All beings will know his crime simply by looking upon him. The council agreed, the sentence was passed, but Aelia felt no satisfaction, only a hollow emptiness where her heart used to be. Aelia whispering to herself as she left. Let him live. Let him live and remember, just as I must. Kaelen fled to the fractured wastes, a realm between worlds where reality itself was unstable, a place where no guardian would willingly venture. Perfect for a traitor seeking to disappear, but disappearing from the world and disappearing from his own memories. Those were two very different things. He lived like a ghost, a phantom of his former self. The mark of betrayal that the council had burned into his essence manifested as dark brands that writhed across his skin, living tattoos that spelled out his crime in the ancient tongue. Anyone who saw him would instantly know, this is a betrayer of the sacred bond. But there was no one here to see, only the howling wind and his own tortured thoughts. Kaelen, internal monologue, voice haunted. 53 years, 2 months and 16 days. That's how long it's been since I held her. Since I looked into her eyes and saw them dim. Since I became the monster she named me. Every night he relived the moment, the essence siphon striking, her scream, the light draining from her body, the bond snapping, and every night he whispered the same words into the darkness. Kaelen, whispering, I did it for you, Aelia. I did it to save you. The void entity. It would have devoured you. This was the only way. The only way. But the void had lied. Kaelen had taken its knowledge, absorbed its corrupt power, truly believing he could trap the entity within himself and seal it away permanently. He'd sacrificed everything, Aelia's love, his honor, his very soul, for this plan. But the moment he'd completed the betrayal, the moment the bond snapped, the void's presence had vanished from his mind entirely. Gone, as if it had never been there at all. Kaelen, voice breaking into a scream, where are you? Come back. I did everything you asked. I betrayed her for you. Finish it. Let me trap you. Let me seal you away. Let this mean something. But only silence answered. The void entity had gotten exactly what it wanted, the most powerful guardian bond destroyed, and had simply left. Kaelen's sacrifice had been for nothing. His betrayal had been meaningless, and Aelia would hate him forever for a plan that had never even worked. Kaelen, collapsing to his knees, voice barely audible. What have I done? By the eternal stars. What have I done? 500 years passed. Aelia did not heal. She did not forgive. She did not forget. Instead, she transformed. The Keeper of Dawn, who once radiated warmth and compassion, was gone. In her place stood something colder, harder, unbreakable. Guardian recruit, trembling. Please, Commander Aelia, I didn't mean to fail the... Aelia, voice like ice. Intentions are irrelevant. Results are all that matter. You failed the test. You are dismissed from Guardian training. Leave. The recruit fled, tears streaming down their face. This was the new Aelia, efficient, brilliant, but completely devoid of mercy. She had risen through the Guardian ranks with ruthless efficiency. Her shattered essence, rather than weakening her, had forced her to develop new combat techniques. She could no longer rely on raw power, so she became tactical, precise, lethal. They called her the Ice Queen behind her back, never to her face. Fellow Guardian listened her, approaching cautiously. Aelia, that recruit had potential. A little more time. Aelia, not looking at him. Weakness is not potential, it's liability. We are Guardians. We protect our realm. There is no room for sentiment. Listener, this isn't you, the Aelia I knew. Aelia, finally turning, her eyes cold. The Aelia you knew died 500 years ago. What stands before you is what's necessary. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have duties to attend to. She walked away, leaving Lysander staring after her with sad eyes. But what none of them saw was the moment she was alone, truly alone, in her private chambers. Every night, the same ritual. Aelia would stand at her window, looking out at the stars, and allow herself exactly 3 minutes to remember. She would reach for the place where the bond used to be, that golden thread that had connected her to Kaelen, and feel only emptiness. Aelia, whispering to the darkness, I hate you with every fractured piece of my soul, but somehow I hate myself more. Because even after everything, even after 500 years, there's still a part of me, a stupid, broken, pathetic part, that wonders why. What could possibly have driven you to do it? Was it greed, madness, or was I simply never enough? A single tear rolled down her cheek, the only tear she allowed herself each night. Then she wiped it away, and the Ice Queen's mask returned. Aelia. It doesn't matter, I'll never know. And I'll never forgive. 700 years into his exile, Kaelen discovered something that changed everything. He'd been scavenging for supplies when he stumbled upon ruins older than the Guardian civilization itself. Ancient texts written in a language predating the Sanctum, and within those texts, a single passage that made his dead heart surge with impossible hope. Kaelen, reading aloud, voice trembling. When a sacred bond is shattered through betrayal, the essence of the wronged may never fully heal through mortal means. But there exists a legend, the ethereal convergence, an artifact of the first beings, capable of restoration at the cost of equivalent sacrifice. To use it, one must gather 3 fragments: the tear of starlight, the heart of abyss, and the crown of final dawn. Together, these can restore what was broken. But the price is the complete dissolution of the one who activates it. Kaelen stared at the words, his mind racing. A way to restore Aelia, to heal the damage he'd caused, to undo the shattering of her essence. The cost? His own existence. Kaelen, voice steady for the first time in centuries. Yes, yes, this is it. This is how I make it right. For the first time since the betrayal, Kaelen felt something other than despair. Purpose. He would find these artifacts. He would activate the ethereal convergence. And he would restore Aelia, even if it meant erasing himself from existence completely. Kaelen. I can't undo the betrayal. I can't take back the pain. But I can do this. I will do this. He carefully tore the page from the ancient book, folding it into his robes. The quest would be nearly impossible. Each artifact was hidden in the most dangerous realms imaginable, guarded by entities that would destroy him without hesitation. But for the first time in 700 years, Kaelen smiled. Not with joy, but with grim determination. Kaelen. I'm coming, Aelia. You'll never know. You'll never understand. But I'm going to save you, even if you spend eternity hating the memory of who I was. The tear of starlight was said to rest at the peak of Mount Caelus, a mountain that existed simultaneously in 3 different realms, making it nearly impossible to reach. But Kaelen had nothing but time. The climb took 20 years. 20 years of phasing between realities, fighting off void creatures, and enduring conditions that would have killed a mortal 1,000 times over. But Kaelen was no longer just a guardian. The void's corruption had left him changed, stronger in some ways, twisted in others. He could survive things that should have destroyed him. At the summit, inside a temple of crystallized starlight, he found it. Kaelen, breathless, staring at the floating crystal. The tear of starlight. It was a perfect teardrop-shaped crystal that contained the captured light of a dying star. Beautiful, radiant, pure, everything he was not. But as he reached for it, a voice echoed through the temple. Temple Guardian, ancient ethereal voice. Only the pure of heart may claim the tear. You, betrayer, are unworthy. Kaelen, voice raw. I know I'm unworthy, but this isn't for me. It's for her, for the one I wronged. Please, I don't ask for forgiveness. I don't ask for redemption. I only ask for the chance to restore what I destroyed. Silence. Then slowly, the temple guardian materialized, an entity of pure light, ancient and terrible. Temple guardian, why should I trust the words of one who broke the most sacred of vows? Kaelen, dropping to his knees. You shouldn't trust me. But judge me by my actions. Look into my heart. See what I'm willing to sacrifice. I will give everything. My existence, my soul, even the memory of ever having existed. Just to undo the harm I caused. If that's not enough, then destroy me now. At least then, my suffering will end. The temple guardian stared at Kaelen for what felt like an eternity. Then, to Kaelen's shock, it stepped aside. Temple guardian. Take it. Not because you are worthy, but because your suffering is genuine and your intent is pure, even if your past is not. But know this, betrayer, the path you walk leads only to oblivion. The ethereal convergence demands absolute sacrifice. You will save her, but you will be erased so completely that even she will not remember you ever existed. Kaelen, reaching for the tear, voice steady. Good, let her forget. Let the universe forget. As long as she's whole again, that's all that matters. His fingers closed around the tear of starlight. It burned, a searing pain that felt like his very essence was being judged. But he didn't let go. When the burning finally stopped, the tear had bonded to him, embedding itself in his chest next to his heart. One artifact down. 2 to go. At the same time Kaelen was claiming the tear of starlight, Aelia was making a discovery of her own. Guardian Scout. Nervous. Commander Aelia, we've detected unusual energy signatures in the fractured wastes. It appears Kaelen has been active. At the sound of that name, a name not spoken in her presence for 7 centuries, Aelia's entire body went rigid. Aelia, voice dangerously quiet, explain. Guardian Scout. He seems to be searching for something, ancient artifacts based on the locations he's visited. We don't know why, but Aelia, have him followed, discreetly. I want to know every move he makes, every breath he takes, everything. Guardian Scout. Commander, with respect, why do we care what... Aelia, turning, her eyes blazing with cold fury, because a traitor doesn't undertake a quest unless it serves his purposes. And I will not allow him to hurt anyone else the way he hurt me. Now go, and don't return until you have information. The scout fled. Alone, Aelia stared at the map showing Kaelen's last known location, Mount Kaelus. Aelia, whispering, "What are you planning, Kaelen? What game are you playing now?" Her hand unconsciously moved to her chest, to the place where the bond used to be. And for just a moment, the Ice Queen's mask cracked. Aelia, why can't you just disappear? Why do you have to keep existing? Keep reminding me that I once loved someone who never really existed at all. The second artifact was hidden in the worst place imaginable. The void between realms, the very domain of the entity that had manipulated Kaelen all those years ago. To enter this place was to risk madness. The void was where reality broke down, where thoughts became twisted, where the entity that had once whispered promises to Kaelen still lurked. Kaelen, standing at the threshold. I'm coming back, to the place where it all started. How fitting. He stepped into the darkness. Immediately whispers assaulted his mind, thousands of voices, all familiar, all wrong. Aelia's voice, distorted, echoing. You destroyed me. You destroyed me. Monster. Betrayer. I hate you. Kaelen gritting his teeth. Not real. These aren't real. But the voices didn't stop. They grew louder, more insistent, more personal. Aelia's voice. Did you really think you could fix this? You can't. You'll fail. You'll fail, and I'll remain broken forever. Because of you. Kaelen shouting into the darkness. I know I destroyed her, but I'm trying to fix it. That's why I'm here. Void entity, manifesting as swirling darkness. Ah, the broken sentinel returns. Tell me, Kaelen, how does it feel? Knowing your grand sacrifice meant nothing? The entity took shape, a massive, amorphous presence of pure malevolence. Kaelen, voice filled with rage. You used me. You lied. There was never any threat to Aelia, was there? You just wanted the strongest bond destroyed, and you knew I'd do anything to protect her. Void entity, laughing. Oh, but there was a threat. Me. And you did exactly what I needed. You broke the bond that would have protected her from my eventual return. Thank you for that. Kaelen, drawing his weapon, a blade forged from his own solidified shadow. Then I'll destroy you here and now. End this. Stop you from ever threatening her. Void entity. You destroy me? You can barely maintain your own sanity. Look at you, corrupted by my power, branded as a traitor, alone for nearly a millennium. You're broken, Kaelen, just like her. The entity attacked, tendrils of pure void lashing out. Kaelen fought back with everything he had, shadow against void, broken against evil. The battle raged for what felt like years in that timeless place. Kaelen screaming, where is it? The heart of abyss. I know it's here. Void entity. Oh, that? You'll never... But Kaelen had been planning this. Every moment of the fight, he'd been studying the entity's energy signature. And he realized the entity itself was the heart of Abyss. To claim it, he'd have to absorb a portion of the entity's essence. Kaelen, you want me corrupted? You want me destroyed? Fine, but I'm taking what I need first. Before the entity could react, Kaelen plunged his hand directly into the swirling darkness, grasping a core of pure void energy. The pain was indescribable, the corruption was immediate. But when he pulled his hand back, a pulsing black crystal, the heart of Abyss, was embedded in his palm. Void entity, shrieking, "Fool, you've doomed yourself, that corruption will consume you." Kaelen, backing away, his body convulsing with pain. "I was already doomed, the moment I betrayed her." He fled the void between realms, the heart of Abyss burning like acid in his hand, the corruption spreading through his body. But he had it. 2 artifacts. 1 left. Aelia's scouts had been following Kaelen's trail, and what they discovered shook the very foundation of everything she thought she knew. Guardian Scout, laying out documents. "Commander, we've confirmed it. Kaelen has been collecting components for something called the Ethereal Convergence. According to our research, it's a restoration artifact." Aelia, voice sharp. "Restoration of what?" Guardian Scout, "Shattered essence, broken bonds. It's a legendary artifact said to completely heal damage done to a Guardian's core, but the cost is—" Aelia, interrupting. "The life of the one who activates it, complete dissolution." Silence fell over the room. Aelia, He's trying to restore me, to heal what he broke." Guardian Scout, "It appears so, Commander. He's already obtained 2 of the 3 artifacts. The final one is—" Aelia, standing abruptly. "The Crown of Final Dawn. It's in the Sanctuary of First Light, a place I've guarded for the past 3 centuries. Understanding crashed over her like a wave. "Aelia, he's going to come to me. He needs something I have. And when he does—" Guardian Scout, "Commander, what are your orders?" Aelia stared out the window, her mind racing. 900 years of hatred, 900 years of believing Kaelen was simply evil, power-hungry, monstrous. But if he was truly planning to sacrifice himself to heal her, what did that mean? "Aelia," voice barely audible, "it means nothing. Attempting to fix a crime doesn't erase it. He still betrayed me, he still destroyed me. Whether he regrets it or not is irrelevant." But even as she said the words, something inside her, that broken, buried piece that still remembered what it felt like to love him, whispered a different truth. "Aelia," to the scout, "when he comes for the crown, let him through. But I will be the one to face him. No one else. Understood?" Guardian Scout, "Yes, Commander." Alone again, Aelia stared at her reflection in the darkened window. Aelia, whispering, "What are you doing, Kaelen? What are you really doing? And why? Why does part of me want you to succeed?" 950 years after the betrayal, Kaelen stood at the border of the Sanctuary of First Light. The final artifact, the Crown of Final Dawn, the last piece needed to activate the Ethereal Convergence, and the only thing standing between him and salvation for Aelia. Kaelen, staring at the glowing sanctuary in the distance. "She's there. I know she is. After all this time, I'm going to see her again." His body was barely holding together. The corruption from the heart of Abyss had spread, leaving dark veins across his skin. The tear of starlight burned in his chest, constantly fighting the void corruption. He was a walking contradiction, light and darkness at war within a single broken form. "Kaelen, just a little longer. Hold together just a little longer. Once I have the crown, I can activate the convergence, restore her, and it will all be over. She'll be whole. That's all that matters." He took a step forward, then another. Each step toward the sanctuary was a step closer to seeing her face again. The face that had haunted his every moment for nearly a millennium. Kaelen, whispering a prayer, Please let me do this one thing right. Let me save her, even if she never knows, even if I'm forgotten. Please." The sanctuary gates opened before him, not locked, not guarded, an invitation, or a trap. Kaelen, drawing a shaking breath. "Here we go. After 1,000 years, we meet again, Aelia. my soulmate, my victim, my eternal regret. He stepped through the gates, and there, standing in the center of the sanctuary, surrounded by pillars of pure light, was Aelia. She looked exactly as he remembered, and completely different. Her beauty remained, but it was cold now, sharp. Her eyes, once warm gold, now pale amber ice. She stared at him with an expression he couldn't read. Aelia, voice cutting through the silence like a blade. "Hello, Kaelen, it's been a while." Kaelen's breath caught. 950 years since he'd heard her voice directed at him. Kaelen, voice hoarse. "Aelia, Aelia, save it, I know why you're here. The crown of final dawn, the ethereal convergence. Your pathetic attempt at redemption, I know everything. His plans, his quest, his desperate attempt to save her, she knew it all. And judging by her expression, she wasn't going to let him succeed without a fight. 1,000 years of pain, 1,000 years of regret, 1,000 years of a love that refused to die, no matter how deep the betrayal. Now finally they stood face to face. Aelia, the Ice Queen, the one who was broken and refused to heal. Kaelen, the traitor, the one who would sacrifice everything to undo his crime. Both carrying scars that would never fully fade. Both harboring truths the other didn't know. And both about to engage in a confrontation that would determine not just their fates, but the fate of their entire world. Because the void entity was still out there. The seventh seal was still weakening, and Kaelen's betrayal, meant to prevent Aelia's destruction, had instead set in motion the very apocalypse he'd tried to stop. Music cuts to silence. Some betrayals break you, some quests damn you, and some loves. Some loves are so powerful that not even 1,000 years of hatred can kill them. What happens when the betrayer and the betrayed must finally face the truth? Find out in Part 3, The Love-Hate War. 1,000 years of separation ends now. Will Aelia destroy Kaelen? Will Kaelen complete his quest? And what is the real truth behind the betrayal that shattered the universe? The answer will blow your mind. Drop a comment. Do you think Aelia should forgive him? And smash that subscribe button, because Part 3 is where everything you think you know gets turned upside down. See you there.